and she's probably more annoyed by tape on her head. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Ohrmundt Simmentals. It is Monday afternoon, and of course, it rained again today. So, as we first came into the barn today, we did have a very nice surprise. Not a huge surprise, but Whitey Gergs had her heifer calf. All the bulls are pissed because we separated them. One wants to be with the other one, and whatever. But yep, Whitey Gergs, and this is like almost spot on, full white face. She's got a little bit more white right on her hip there. Well, actually, Gergs has got that too. She's got a little spot of white right in the joint there. But she is very similar. She's probably in that 90, 95 pound range. But she probably had that probably right before I got home. A little bit before I got home. Well, I guess technically that's a wrap on 2024 calving. For us, we always know that we'll have one or two that are kind of stragglers. We really don't mind if we have a couple that are a little bit late. It's not a huge deal. Hey, how's it going? It is Tuesday afternoon. Of course, it rained again. I'm going to show him, and he is dirty, but he is dumb. So, bravo, bull. Granted, it's wet. Here's clean. Yes, it's wet. Here's the bull. You can't fix stupid, I tell you. So, we're going to clean out, actually in the BDA where the bulls were. There was some hay in there. We're going to pick that up, use that as some bedding, and then get some more bedding because State of War bull, for whatever reason, he won't go inside either where it's pretty darn dry and hang out. The bankroll grew half a brain, and he's been going in the shed. All right, so one thing Dad did do today, we kind of talked about it. We picked up that Sweet 16 stuff, right? And it seemed like the bulls are kind of picking up on that and liking it. So today, Dad ran to the mill, ran a marathon, and picked up some more of that corn oats molasses that we used on the calves. So this stuff, and it smells awesome. So giving them a little bit of that, just trying to get them excited about it. I really think it has a little bit more to do with the fact that they're by themselves and they're not with somebody else. So everything kind of taken care of here. So now it's time to rotate these guys, but they're going down the lane. So we've made it to what we call the East Field because this at one time was a big hay field for us. And part of the reason this is just better suited for grazing is because it is pretty wet. It's a little low. So what's the lay of the land here? Okay, so this is the chunk that they just did 3 rotations on, and then the fence comes right down here, and then there's a little bush right in the view of that white house over there. That is the line, and then where I was pounding that post is straight at me with that big bush. The truck is going past it right now. So that is the corner, and then that little brush line is our fence line. So that brush line is probably, it's like 130 yards, maybe 120 yards, give or take. We are going to be heading off in this direction, however, kind of at an angle. And then our other fence goes down here. Here's that drain ditch. Yellow water is down there, if you remember that from last summer. But this actually looks really, really good. There is a lot of ryegrass that came up, which is awesome. So what do we got going on here? So this is our alley. We do take this into consideration when we figure out our paddock size, because this is almost like half a paddock size itself. So almost a half a day. The problem is that going back and forth. They do trample a lot. So what we want to do is, you know, we're gonna pivot, and our last one is gonna go off kind of in this direction, and then we'll swing the line over, and then they'll go to the yellow water. So I'm thinking, based on the amount of stuff that's here, I'm gonna go right at the end of that line of pines. There's a post over there. I'm gonna head over to there. So then they're gonna have a little over about 1.5 acres, and then this lane or this alley is another, at least a good solid acre, with a lot of good grass. The alley has a lot of clover. Because what I will do is I'll bring this around and I'll wrap this a couple of times. I can fine tune tension that way. And yeah, I'm getting kind of in your personal space. All right, so we're gonna walk back up and I can kind of explain, or you can kind of see why I put them on the chunk or rotated this chunk right here the way that I did, because it'll help bring them off the field. So right now, they're kind of like, hey, where are you going? Where are you gonna let us in? Down here? Over here? Down here? Over here? Down here? Over here? You know, that's kind of what's going through their mind, but they can only go back over to here. So they can't even get close to that other, you know, to the culvert spot. So what we're going to do is, as I come down here, and there they go, the older ones like Photo or AC 431, they know exactly what's going on. They're like, wait a minute, nope, he's coming down here. So they're gonna come off that chunk and they'll meet me down at the start of the alley. All right, here we go. And the other reason I really like doing it that way is you get all the animals off the field, off that one chunk. Your biggest issue is always going to be your calves or potentially your heifers. And then trying to get one of them to make that big of a move by themselves, that's really tough. And it looks like Photo was the first one down there. She made a good turn, and I'll slowly follow them down. Now Barb's the last one, and that's okay. You know, obviously this is her first time rotating through. I don't have any worries about her. She's been doing great as far as staying in the fences and all that stuff. She has not been an issue. Now, the only downside to what I'm doing right now is that there is no juice on the line, but I'm not super worried about there being juice on the line because they have fresh grass. And this ground is wet. They will chew this up. But that's it's a sacrifice alley for a reason. I think we got a couple of guys here that think they're hanging a right, and don't know how to get onto the field, but that's okay. They know where everybody went. Perfect. Nice job, Photo. Way to be a leader out there. All right. Let me just kind of keep an eye on them because this is a different move, a different area for them. They do got to come all the way back for water. It's about 200 yards. It is Wednesday afternoon. Happy hump day. Everybody likes to talk now. So this guy finally decided it was a good idea to come in the barn. Okay, so we want to work that last calf. Going to get a tape weight on it. Be the last one of the year. But one thing is she does have horns. Whitey Gergs is a horned cow. Bruno was a hetero polled. So it's kind of a 50-50 chance whether or not you get horns or not. So calf is going to be 3M GM 309. Whitey Gergs is 903. But because we have so many 913s and we also have Deja at 910, I just decided I'm going to, both Gergs actually get flipped. Because Goggle Gergs is 914. So her calves are 419. Just so we get out of some of those nines. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a little trimmer. And you'll see we'll trim away where the butt is. And then this is a paste that will actually stop it. It is a mild acid, I think. Yeah, calcium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide are the two active ingredients of this stuff. This is the Dr. Larson's horning paste. So this is Dr. Larson's that's a very established brand. So what you do is you get down, you remove all the hair, and you actually kind of scuff the skin a little bit. You put a little bit of this, little dab of this paste on there, like dime size, just enough to cover the bud. And then what we actually do is we'll put a piece of duct tape over the top of it. And that's just to prevent, when you push the calf back with mom doesn't sit there and just lick it off. And then what it does is it'll kind of eat away at that location. That's why you just put it on the bud, because that is what's going to turn into a horn. You'll see very little reaction from the calf. We haven't done a whole lot of dehorning the last couple of years. We used to have to do more of them when I was younger. And that was an issue that we ran into, is that you'd put the paste on, you put it back with mom, and then mom's licking its face, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna lick this paste off, and then you don't really get a good result. Sometimes you get little weird stubs or something like that. But once you put the tape on, and then the next day, either the tape will fall off, or mom will lick the tape off, or I'll go in there and I'll rip the tape off. Action. 95. God damn it. 95, 92. All right. Little scuff. Little paste. So just a little recap. Where did she go? Yeah, she's right here. GM 309, 95 on the scale, 92 on the tape. So pretty decent correlation between that. Now what I want to do is, I think I'm going to try and put together just one little wrap-up video, and I promise I'm going to try not to get too wordy. But just try and do an overview of what did we see between looking at a digital scale and the hoof tape. So hopefully that comes pretty soon. But now I'll show you what she looks like, and don't laugh too hard because I did use a little bit longer chunks of tape, and it's blaze orange tape, so can't miss it. She's pretty spunky, but that's not to be surprised. So that's what she looks like. She's got like a little blaze orange bandana tape on her head. Next on the list is this water tank. So our hurt steer back here, this guy, is actually getting a little better. Slow but sure. He's putting maybe about 50% weight on there, but he's got a good heavy limp. So I'm to the point where I shouldn't necessarily need to be bringing him water. I usually bring him a bucket, 5-gallon bucket of water. He doesn't always finish it, but now that it's getting warmer out too, he needs more access to more water. And so this is all kind of happening at a good time. And if he's putting a little weight on it, having him walk the 6 or 8 steps to go get water should not be a big deal for him. But I want to get this cleaned out. It's got some water that's been in there for quite a while. Clean it out, brush it out. I got a little iodine soap. We'll rinse it out that way. There's a little water in the line so I can flush it out, and then we'll get him some fresh water because I also got to run a little water for Gergs. So we'll pump it out, and I won't bring you along for the pump out because, well, we're just pumping water and that's boring. All right, so we've got that tank cleaned out, filling back up, and we'll fill that right up to the top so that he knows, or at least pretty close to the top, so that he knows he's already been snooping over there. But scrubbed it out. It was kind of nasty. Scrubbed it out, used a little iodine soap, rinsed it out like 4 times while the other tank was filling up. So it should be pretty good. All right, so yeah. And she's probably more annoyed by tape on her head than she is the actual paste. She's probably like, what is this on my head? This is ridiculous. All right, so that is enough for a Wednesday afternoon. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hey, how's it going? It is Thursday afternoon, and of course it's sprinkling. So just getting going here. I got to move the cows yet tonight, so that is a for sure thing, but we got to do some bedding. I don't know why these steers are standing in water. That seems kind of dumb, but we got to do some bedding, that's for sure. And then other than that, I'm not too sure what else we're going to do yet tonight. So what kind of trouble we can get into. So I figured I'd give you guys a look at what that heifer looks like a day later. And I don't think I'll be able to get real close in by her. I don't really want to bug her and Mom because they are still in a relatively small pen. But I came out this morning to do a check, and I took the tape off that we had put on last night. And I'm just trying to get in a spot here. So there's the calf, and it's going to be hard to see unless I go right in there. But there is just a little spot. You can barely even tell from this distance. That is basically looks like she has a little bit of a scab. And that is all that is there, is a little bit of a scab. And she hasn't missed a beat. All right, first on the list for moving, I need to pick up this line. All right, that was not overly fun. So this is the joys of rotationally grazing. Small chunks near waterways, because I'll consider this ditch a waterway, and in extremely wet weather, because they're just killing chunks of their paddocks. So this is what this chunk looks like today. They normally do not get that bad. Yes, they get a little chewed up here, so this is definitely an area that's going to need some fill brought in to bring this bank back up, because they're literally just chewing this away, and then it's getting taken over there. They're spreading it over here, and you can even see how brown this is from their tracks taking it out there. So not only do we need fill to cover the culvert, but we need fill to fix some areas, and that part of it gets annoying, because even in a mildly wet spring where it's just fairly average, it doesn't even get close to that. Then of course, and this is partly my fault, is down here I didn't leave them enough space to make this corner, and the post I had right here, they snapped it off, and then one of the younger cows proceeded to drag the line and the reel all about 50 yards into their next paddock. That was awesome. It is the end of the week, and we're going to call this the end of the video. Hope you guys have a great Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. I'm going to go hopefully enjoy some of my nice afternoon, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. If you guys got any questions, please leave them in the comments. Hope you liked the video. Hit that thumbs up, and definitely don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for coming along.